G'day everyone, just thought I'd do another video, hadn't done one for a little while, so this video is basically going to be on my H&R Handi Rifle, which is in 45-70 calibre. We'll also talk a bit about the 45-70. I watched a little review on Aussie Reviews the other night where he discussed a few things about the cartridge and thought, well, I might share my little insights on my experience with the cartridge and this rifle. Now, at the time, I bought this rifle because basically it was about the cheapest way of getting into 45-70 shooting, or even just big game calibers. You could get it in 45-70, 444 Marlin, 35 Wheeling. Then they brought it out in 500 Smith & Wesson when that came out. So you could get it in some pretty decent, steamy sort of calibers. So I've always loved the 45-70, and quite a few times there I'd missed a chance on buying myself a Marlin or something like that. So I thought, well, I'll give this a go. I mean, I think I bought this rifle for $400 brand new 10 years ago, so it's served me pretty well since then. Been a great rifle. I've had times where I've thought, oh, is it time to upgrade it? And then I'd go out and have a few shots with it and realise, no, she's still an accurate shooting rifle. Just lasted me well, had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, it's just basically the cheapest way to get into big bore shooting you could have possibly got. Unfortunately, I'm not sure whether they're still being made anymore, but I highly recommend them if you do find them. Just great fun. As you can see, I've got the action open. They're just a single shot break open, just like the shotguns are. They've just got a beefed up steel receiver there that can handle the pressures of the rifle cartridges. Basically, yeah, simple, very simple firearm. Obviously, the safest way to carry it around, you can either carry it around open or carry it closed. And then, when you're ready to shoot, cock and fire, and that's the safest way. I do have a scope base on top. I have had scopes on and off at the part over the times I've had it, but I find just the hammer itself sticks up fairly high, and I do have I do have the shotgun style buttstock on it, so it's fairly low comb. And I just find, I've got to have the scope mounted up so high to clear that hammer that I don't really feel that comfortable with a hard kicking caliber with my cheek raised up so high off the comb. And with the 45-70, these open sights, these have got Williams open sights on them. They've got a Williams rear sight and front sight on them. I just find I really don't need a scope on this rifle. It shoots very well, and most of the time it's a fairly low velocity cartridge, so I'm not doing great long shots or anything with it. So it's fine just the way it is, but I just decided to leave the base on. It's not really doing any harm, so it is what it is. Now, as far as the cartridge itself, 45-70, as everyone knows, it's been around since 1873. It was the US military cartridge at the time for the single shot trapdoor Springfield. Great rifle. I'd certainly love to own one if I could. So it's transitioned from the black powder cartridges of the day to the modern smokeless cartridges. This rifle itself is a reason I put it in the mid-strength loads. As most people know, you've got sort of three levels of 45-70 rifles. You've got your older black powder rifles. You've got your Marlin 1895s and your Winchester 1860s, 1886s, I should say. And then you've got your really strong rifles like your Ruger No. 1s, your Siamese Mausers and things like that. Whereas with this rifle, and being a fairly light rifle, I think it comes up around the 6 pound mark, maybe just under. I find the starting loads for basically the second section is about as much as I'd bother putting through this rifle. Alright, I'll show you some of my reloads. I basically started off with the Blue Box Federal 300 grain hollow points. I was getting them for about $40 a box at the time, which was a reasonable price for 45-70 ammo. I think the Winchester and the Remington stuff was up around the $60 mark at the time. So that was a bit more than I was willing to pay, but I found the Federal stuff to shoot very well out of this rifle. And since then I've reloaded everything from 300s up to 500s. And found this rifle will shoot them all, and pretty accurately too. I did splurge out one time and tried the Hornady Lever Evolution that everyone was going on about at the time. Yeah, a bit higher velocity than what I was used to. It was shooting about another 100 feet a second over the federal stuff, but didn't really seem to show anything better than what I was getting already. So yeah, it was more just a gimmick for me at the time. But some people swear by that ammo, so I'm not going to detract from it at all. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it at all, and I've used Hornady ammo in other rifles and find it really good quality. So basically what I've got at the moment, I'll show you some of my reloads. This is the 300 grain Hornady hollow point. This projectile has been around for decades. Hopefully that focuses. Yeah, so basically that's I've tried a few different loads with this. I pretty much use in Australia what's called Molex AR2207. It's the ADI powder. In America, it's called Hudgens 4198. And I actually use that powder for every one of my 4570 loads. And I find it absolutely fantastic. Burns well, accurate, low pressure. I'm using 55 grains at the moment with the 300 grainer. Getting about roughly 2200 feet per second. That's just going by what the manual says anyway. I don't have a chronograph, so I'm only going by, could be going a little bit quicker or a little bit slower out of this rifle. I'm not 100% sure. I certainly don't need to be pushing that any faster, that's for sure. Recoil's up there. And then the good old faithful 405 grain Remington. Cheap bullet. I bought these for 50 cents a projectile at the time in bulk lot, and great old bullet. Classic, shoots well. As you can see, being a single shot, I'm not so restricted with the overall length of the 4570 like you are in some of the lever actions. So I can seed it out that little bit further, which is quite fine. Great fun bullet to shoot. I'm using about 45 grains of that same powder with that load, and it should be up around the 1800 feet a second mark. Great load for that one. And there's some of the other projectiles. I bought a Lee mould, a 500 grain Lee flat nose gas check mould there when I bought the rifle, and there's quite a good projectile. Loaded these up a few times. They shoot quite well for a big cartridge. A big projectile, I should say. And just use the Lee alloy, I can't think of the name of it now, the lube that they sell with the moulds. It seemed to be quite fine. And then I've just still got some of the Remingtons left. I've got about 50 of these left. But yeah, as you can see, that's the projectile, the Remington 405 grain. Yeah, another projectile that's been around for years and years. But yeah, so that's it. That's what I've got. That's the rifle I've got in 4570. There's some of the loads I use. These rifles shoot great. They're a lot of fun. If you're looking for a cheap rifle that shoots a big game caliber, you just want to have a bit of fun. I highly recommend them. I've like I said, I've had absolutely no trouble whatsoever. I'll just open that action up again. Very simple to use, very safe to use. All my kids have shot it over the years. They absolutely love the rifle. Just a hell of a lot of fun. Great patch my recoil pad that they come out standard with. Very nice to the shoulder too. The rifle, very nice. Feels just like a single shot shotgun, to be honest. So we'll do like I've said in a few of my videos, we'll do a shooting video of it at some stage where we might hit some pretty heavy targets and show you just the power this old cartridge has still got. You'd be quite surprised. It's a very capable cartridge at reasonable distances. I wouldn't call it a long-range caliber, even though target shooters and long-range silhouette shooters will shoot out to 1,000 yards with it. But for hunting purposes, it is what it is. It's a brush cartridge, but I'm not going to give a distance because that's entirely up to the shooter himself and his own capabilities. I think it's because well and truly got the killing power with certain projectiles to go a lot further than what some people would think. So we'll leave the review there, and yeah, that's just my perspective on things. And yeah, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Aussie Reviews. I highly enjoy his channel, and yeah, he definitely has a good experience, probably a lot more experience than I have with a lot of different rifles and cartridges. So yeah, if you ever want to click onto a link, yeah, Aussie Reviews, I highly recommend. So we'll leave our video there, and we shall catch you all later.